love the idea of getting back into right relationship with pretty
Yeah.
much everything. So we were talking about animals like
Yeah.
spiders or even snakes, stuff that typically mosquitoes, bees, you know, anything that there's not a symbiotic, harmonic relationship. Um, with the concept and knowing that everything is by original design
Yeah.
in harmony. Like every relationship is a harmonious, symbiotic relationship.
hmm I love that because I don't know what you did last week when that spider was up there. And you said something, but when we were ending the call, you said something about, and I've been honestly like deathly afraid of spiders, deathly. And you said something like, okay, Mr. Spider, like, go and hide or you'll be whatever. And then it was shortly after that, like it just really didn't dawn on me. And then afterwards, like I said, hung up, we ended the call and I went down and totally forgot about them. It's okay. And then now as I'm been seeing them, it's like, okay, you need to get out of my house. Now, normally I'd be like, oh my God, let me go get the vacuum. Well, let me go kill him now. It's like, okay, get out of my house. Or I'm going to take a piece of paper. And if I get you to put you outside, you got to promise not to run at me. You said you're dead. Remember when you were doing the hose with the spiders in the
Oh,
shed or
yes.
whatever?
Yes. I was,
Yeah.
yeah. I was
And
hosing something on and I didn't want to ruin their web. I'm like, oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, I won't, I won't ruin.
yeah.
Yes,
And then there's me like, oh, here you are. I'm going to kill you. So
exactly.
it was interesting because when you said that last week, I was like, oh, yeah, like I wish I could get like that. So I think that was the thing. Like once you started to say that you had that energy, and I think me just even thinking, I wish I could get like that. I think it's some sort of energetic thing started to happen. It's like, okay, you can see Tracy is in this symbiotic relationship with everything. I mean, look at Mr. Fly, Mr. Blue. Was it Mr. Blue?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, blue. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like you are in such a great symbiotic relationship with things, and it makes such a huge difference to me in the world. For whatever reason, they're asking me to ask you, what do you see in that, in the symbiotic relationship opposed to a non-symbiotic relationship?
At first I'm seeing like there's so much um infrastructure, like architecture that has been created because of relationships that are not symbiotic. So like pest control. And I'll give you my daughter was having like all of a sudden roaches, but they're like palmetto bugs, down in Florida,
Yeah.
they're the big palmetto bugs. But then you have to have like the pest control people come and then, she's trying to put some stuff out for the cats. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so much of that stuff is toxic for the cats. Like she ordered a couple things and I'm like, be careful with the cats. So do you see all these layers of I see it as infrastructure or architecture that are created that are not beneficial, they're not good because we've somewhere along the line created disharmony amongst all of
Mhm.
the things.
Yeah.
So when you go back and you see it, it's that flow. I'm going to try and say we spoke about it earlier. So, and it's everything. It's relationships, it's the bones in the body. Everything is just in the original form, true design. It's so fluid that everything just exists in this beautiful harmony essence of, oneness, which I think that's a hard concept to really
Yeah.
grasp, but it's so beautiful, I have to say. But it's more so of, I see it in an opposite way of once you take out all of that unnecessary infrastructure and architecture that is not in right relationship. Like it almost is the antithesis, the detriment to that relationship. Am I getting this out good?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hard for me to actually get it out in words.
I know. Well, and again, we're moving into that energy in that whole field that the words don't mean anything. I mean, there's that limited field, that limited whatever that had put, okay, this word means this means this, you're going to be offended by this, you're going to do all this. So that makes sense. We're going back into that. So, yeah, I mean, I could feel it. You can feel it. And that's what I love, like just feeling what you're saying. Like, no, I didn't do it, but close my eyes and just feel the words because it's really the energy. It's not really feeling the words. I'm feeling the energy to it, which is
Yes.
exciting. And yeah, and I think that's what the world has to go to. That's what people have to start to move to. And I think they are.
I think they are too. And to see the value in the presence of everything. Like you could be
Yeah.
terrified of a spider, or you could be like, "Hey, eight legs, what's going on?
Right.
What you got going on from your perspective? Like what's happening,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the intel on the web?"
Right. That gives the whole interweb a whole different meaning. Well, well, it's funny because we talked about like I was always fine with daddy long legs. I have no problem. Like in my base in the my office downstairs in the basement, I had a little family. Like there was one, and I was like, hey, what's going on? I would do the exact same thing. Like, hey, what's going on? Daddy long legs today? And then all of a sudden, little ones showed up. I'm like, oh, I guess you're not daddy long legs. You're a mama long legs. And they live. I don't know whatever happened to them because I haven't seen them in a while. But I never had a problem with them. But those any other spider, oh,
I was just getting the image of, it's always the cartoon movies that all the creatures talk.
yeah, yeah,
Um, like how fascinating will that be? I'll put it that way. Will that be when we can really start communicating with all of the creatures? Like how fascinating. I don't know. I love to go off on tangents. I want to talk to
I
that
get it.
bird. Where were you today? Like what cool stuff did you see? Like what's
Yeah,
going on
right.
from there? Or like how fun will it be when when we are the bird?
Yeah. Well,
I gotta throw in the zing, the
absolutely.
fun.
Love it.
I'm putting it out there.
Yes. But you know what I find really fascinating, and I don't know why I noticed this the other day. I was walking the dogs, like ants. There's all these ants like on the sidewalks and that. And what's really interesting to me is they're very respectful because I was paying attention to Bentley, walking and Gypsy, and they're usually like not together. They're a little, spaced out. But I noticed these like ants walking, and then they stopped dead. It was almost like they could feel us walking or feel them, coming, and then I watched them as we went by, and then they walked, and I was like, "That's crazy! They're so respectful. Like they get it."
It's so funny you say that because I walk the beach all the time. And the flocks of birds, I notice like the humans, we just keep on our path and we make the
Yeah,
birds get out of our way. Well, I'm the crazy one that like walks around the birds and talks to them. Like, I'm like, you were there first. Like, how rude of me
yeah.
to like bust up your cluster. You know what I mean?
But and how interesting is that they know you're going to walk around them. They're feeling your field, whatever it is. They're like, oh, hey, she respects us. She knows, she talks to us. And they know you're going to move out of the way. Everybody else, they know, oh, no, they're not even paying attention. They're not noticing.
So here's another one. And because I've walked with a couple different people over the past few weeks, and sometimes the shoreline is like, wavy like that.
Yeah,
And I've been walking by myself. And when I was walking by myself, and I noticed myself like walking like higher up, like away from the water than down in the water, like doing this S pattern. And then I was walking with Mike, and I was kind of like walking around him, like kept, and I'm listening, watching myself going, like, what are you doing? And it's like, well, I don't want to walk the same path. I want to like, I'm gonna mix it up. Like I'm gonna it's just funny to like watch myself do stuff
yeah,
and then that I don't know, it's something's occurring. And again, we're back to this whole right relationship, how we get stuck in a straight line. This is how we think,
yeah,
this is what the relationship is. And then I see like the grids, like we're meant to start moving a different way. So I don't know. I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is I don't remember when, obviously, but we talked about that on Let's Go. Well, you talked about that on Let's Go, on how it was time to start breaking all the patterns. If
Yes.
if you're used to, whatever, walking this way, walk that way. So that we sort of like, let go of whatever the word that's coming to mind is, like, really stepping outside of the matrix, going into where
Yes.
we're supposed to be. Yeah. So that's
Yes.
interesting.
And then you start noticing little glitches in the matrix when you are starting to go beyond it. Like, nope, I'm not confined by that. Yeah.
What else can you tell me about that? Because I know you've noticed it.
Well, and I've noticed it a couple times. And I'm trying to keep a good consolidated story. I'll give you one. So I walk with my friend the beach, most days of the week. And it was 2 days in a row that we walked back to back. And I was saying, isn't it fascinating how day by day the beach can look totally different? And sure, you can walk at high tide or low tide. But one day the ocean's rough and there's seaweed everywhere, and the next day the sand is totally smooth, hard, and it's like a lake. Like, how can it change that vastly in 24 hours? And I was saying to her, nature's always showing us, like, well, we can too. We can too. We're just not believing in it. Like, why can't you wake up the next day, with all your aches and pains gone and with, your hair a different color? And so I'm saying this, and saying it's here, nature is showing us how possible it is. And then my friend, who, is not crazy out there like me, she's like, we walked by a house and she's like, was that wall of that house blue yesterday? And I'm like, oh, I go, wow, well, they did a quick job painting that, I was like, wow. And then we walk a little while longer, and there was something else. She's like, was that I forgot what the second thing was. And I was like, now that's crazy. And I'm not kidding you. Then a little while, there's these condos and there's big white letters sold wrote on the windows. And she's like, wait a minute. Those definitely were not on those windows. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. You noticed them, not me. I'm like, this has got to be a glitch in the matrix. Like, these are three very significant things. We walk this beach every day. Like, you notice every little thing. And
Hmm.
I'm like, and I think it freaked her out a little bit because here I am, literally in the dialogue of, you know, things can change and we get stuck in this time space continuum. And I was just like, gosh, that is a glitch in the matrix. And then I'm not kidding you. The very next day, someone had built like a gazebo, and she's like, this is freaking me out. Did they built that overnight? I'm like, well, it is like fresh, unpressure treated wood. But so it's starting to be like those explainable things. And I like when other people notice it. Like, and I've told you a couple stories, Renee. We won't go into all of them, of like, well, this doesn't really make sense. Like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
But you start to see these matrix glitches of how is that? And of course, as humans, we roll it out of, justify it or just glaze over it and just let it, that's weird. Where I'm
Hmm.
like, that's fascinating.